The smart money, or another way of saying that is the haves, are buying their Bitcoin from the have-nots right now who are selling it. And I wish the have-nots would stop. So why do I know this? Well, because the trading volume of Bitcoin over the last 24 hours was $50 billion. And for every buyer, there's a seller, which means $50 billion of Bitcoin got bought in the last 24 hours. And I know that not all of that is smart money buying Bitcoin and selling Bitcoin to each other. A significant amount of that sales is from people with money, the smart money, buying Bitcoin from people who will ultimately one day not have that Bitcoin because they don't understand what they're doing and they're selling it. Now, this has happened all the way through Bitcoin's life cycle, and it's the reason that even when Bitcoin's $1 million per coin, there will be a lot more people that once upon a time owned Bitcoin than there are people who actually still own it at $1 million. Now, some of that is people who bought it really cheap, made a ton of money, and are deciding to liquidate some Bitcoin to go on a nice vacation or upgrade their house or their car or something like that, which is all fine. But a lot of that selling pressure is average regular people who bought Bitcoin and don't understand what they hold. And so maybe they bought Bitcoin at 120,000. They don't understand how investing works. The price drops to 115. They feel like it's really not doing anything. Maybe it goes back to 120. They sell it and they're like, well, I tried Bitcoin. I tried it, held it for a few weeks, maybe a few months. Didn't really do anything for me, and they sold it. And then, once upon a time, at some point in the future, they will come back and they will wish that they had never sold that Bitcoin. I have numerous friends, many of which bought Bitcoin even before I was being very public about my Bitcoin ownership on Facebook. For example, I remember one person who bought a good bit of Bitcoin at $5,000 per coin and sold it at $20,000 per coin. And this individual, they'll still be fine, but they were pretty proud of the fact that they made 4 times their money. But the problem is they made 4 times their money. They could have made 20 times their money. And if they had waited even longer, they could have made 200 times their money. So it's pretty painful to make 4 times your money when you could have made 200 times your money. And guess what? A bunch of smart money is going to ride the rest of that elevator. So if you get on the 5th floor of a building, ride up to the 20th floor, and then it goes to the 200th floor, well, dang, that was quite a miss on your part. Pretty unfortunate. But people are doing that. So there's new people getting into Bitcoin. They don't understand what they're doing. They have not taken the time to understand Bitcoin or understand any kind of investing. And they either sell it at about the price they paid for it or with a modest gain. And I've got friends also. I got a friend who bought $300,000 worth of Bitcoin back in 2021. The value dropped to $100,000 and he sold it all. He was like, well, Bitcoin's not for me. I lost money. He lost a couple $100,000. But that same Bitcoin that he held onto it would have probably been worth $1 million by now. So, again, he'll be fine. But there's just a whole lot of people selling Bitcoin. When you have $50 billion of Bitcoin trading hands in the last 24 hours, a bunch of that is people that are going to regret it. And a bunch of the smart money is on the buying side. So if you look at why is the price of Bitcoin basically stuck at 115,000 for the last day or two, the answer is not because corporations stopped buying Bitcoin, or that high net worth individuals stopped buying Bitcoin, or that nation states stopped buying Bitcoin. What happened is there was just enough retail naive investors who don't know what they hold, don't know how investing works, or have gotten bored with Bitcoin, even though it's up 100% in the last 12 months. And they're like, nah, I'll just sell it. And they go on Coinbase or whatever, and they hit sell, and they think, well, I tried Bitcoin. It wasn't for me. And what they don't realize is they're just missing out on this massive, epic upside that they just didn't do the work and didn't have the patience to experience. Meanwhile, the smart money, who's on the other side of that trade, is buying Bitcoin hand over fist with every dollar they can scrounge out of their couch cushions because they do understand what it is that they have, and they are not going to panic sell it in the heat of a moment, or more importantly, when they get bored. So please act like the smart money. Do not be the people who sell your Bitcoin thinking it's boring or it's not for you, or all of the returns of Bitcoin are in the past. Because with $50 billion getting bought in the last 24 hours, I promise you, It's the price would have moved if there were not people naively selling who are going to one day deeply regret it. I just hope that is not you.